morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sir Meerkat, and welcome back to the Moto Meerkat channel. Now, I'm sorry to start off this video on a slightly somber note, but let's cast our minds back to 2013 when a certain man named Jules Bianchi burst onto the Formula 1 scene. Now, he obviously didn't make an insane splash immediately in Formula 1 as he was racing for the backmarker team Marussia, but the grid and fans alike did recognise his God-given talent, and many assumed that in the near future Jules would race for the Scuderia Ferrari team. But this dream of his was cruelly snatched away at Suzuka in 2014 when an unfortunate event occurred, which I won't go into detail on today, that sadly took his life. But not all hope was lost for his immediate family in achieving success at the highest rank in motorsport, as soon after his younger cousin by the name of Charles Leclerc would soon be noticed rising up the motorsports ranks. And in 2014, at the time of Jules' accident, Charles had only just graduated from karts and was racing in the Formula Renault 2.0 Euro Cup and Alps. But by 2019, Charles would fulfill Jules' prophecy and drive for Scuderia Ferrari, quite touching indeed, and he was offered a 5-year deal to guarantee his space for the team from 2019 to 2024, the longest contract ever offered in the history of Ferrari. That is incredible. However, the Leclerc family influence on the motor racing world is seemingly not going to stop there, and is going to increase ever more as Charles may have a new challenger on the scene for that Ferrari seat in future. His own brother, Arthur Leclerc. Let's see just who he is. Since the beginning of the F1 World Championship in 1950, we have seen many interesting sibling rivalries. The most famous of which certainly being Michael and Ralf Schumacher, who battled it out in Formula 1 between 1997 and 2006. With Michael beating out Ralf in 9 of the 10 championships that they competed in together, with the one year that Ralf beat out Michael Schumacher being in 1997, Ralf's maiden year in fact. But this was not because Ralf had some blinding start to his career, it was more due to the fact of his brother's mistake, because Michael decided to slam it into the side of Mr. Jacques Villeneuve at the final Grand Prix at Jerez, and he was subsequently disqualified from the championship. But that honestly doesn't give Ralf the credit that he deserves as a racing driver, as the two of them would often slug it out at the sharp end of the grid, creating lots of drama and some fantastic racing that us fans absolutely lapped up. No pun intended. And in today's motor racing world, the rivalry of brothers Charles and Arthur Leclerc could be just as fiery in my opinion. But just who is this Arthur bloke anyway? You may never have heard of him. Well, to tell you a little bit more about him and his life, I've drafted in my good mate Dan from the Racing Reviews channel. Take it away, sir.
Born on the 14th of October in the year 2000 in Monaco, of all places, Arthur Leclerc was brought up in a household full of racing, with older brother Charles Leclerc making it to Ferrari in Formula 1 and growing up in Monaco. I mean, come on, what a way to start your love of racing, having the Monaco Grand Prix literally on your doorstep. And as such, Arthur would begin his karting career at a very early age, winning the Karting Racing Academy in 2014. Side note, that's got to be one of the most boring names of a championship I have ever heard in my life. But after 2014, things went a little bit quiet, with Leclerc jumping from a few series, but very little information is publicly known of what actually happened between 2014 and eventually 2018, where Leclerc finally resurfaced from the cave he was hiding in, starting in French Formula 4 in what was an impressive season in a rookie campaign. 2 victories, 1 pole position and fastest lap, 8 podiums, 199 points, saw the Monegasque driver finish 5th in his first proper season of racing since that 2014 season. Not too bad if you ask me. The next year in 2019, he got the move to German Formula 4, and though it could be considered a sidestep, the calibre of driver was much higher, with Théo Pourchaire winning the championship, Dennis Hauger P2, but Arthur Leclerc not too far behind in P3. Other notable drivers included Roman Stanek, Gianluca Petikov, Paul Aron and Johnny Edgar, just to name a few. And with Leclerc finishing third overall in the standings, he not only got the move up to Formula Regional in 2020, he also got the nod and incredible privilege of joining the Ferrari Junior Academy for 2020 and onwards. But if he wanted to join Formula 1 in the future, if he wanted to truly be part of that Ferrari Academy, he had to impress in Formula Regional. An up and down season, a crazy season for the majority of drivers on that grid, but it was very clear from pretty much the go that there were 3 drivers in contention for the championship. Arthur Leclerc, who retired in the opening round of the season, Oliver Rasmussen, who claimed victory in that race, and Gianluca Petikov. All 3 battled all season long, sharing 16 of the 21 victories between them, and in every single race that year, at least one of them finishing on the podium. The final result would see Gianluca Petikov win the championship by 16 points, with Leclerc and Rasmussen joint on 343 apiece. Leclerc's season would include 6 victories, 7 pole positions and 15 podiums, but a hat-trick at Mugello, victory in race 1, 2 and 3 would be the true highlight of his 2020 season. And having impressed his brand new team Prema that year, he now continues once again with the Prema team in Formula 3 in 2021. Fierce rival Oliver Rasmussen will join him, with Petikov getting the move to Formula 2. Leclerc's got himself a great opportunity to be Formula 3 champion in 2021. He has the car, but the question marks are there. Will he live up to the incredibly high benchmark set by his brother Charles Leclerc? But one thing that is for sure is that his junior career so far has not been too bad at all. And just to make things a little bit more spicy, there's been a few more antics that Leclerc's been up to over the last few years, but I'll hand you back over to Mr. Meerkat to tell you a little bit more about those.
Well, thank you for telling us a little bit more about his junior career, Dan. If you're not subscribed to the Racing Reviews channel already, I'll leave a link in the description and in the pop-out banner somewhere up there so that you can go over and do so right away. Even if you're only doing so because you feel sympathy for him for being a Grosjean fan, that's okay. But moving swiftly on, Arthur also has very, very strong links with Formula E, as he was the development driver for Venturi Racing during the 2017-18 season. By filling this role, Arthur was given access to Venturi simulators and personal development systems to help him progress as a driver himself, whilst the team also benefited from getting more data to process to maximise their car's performance. And he was then retained by the team for the 2018-19 season, and Leclerc did his first public test for Venturi at the 2019 Formula E rookie test at the Marrakesh street circuit. Then for the 2019-20 season, Venturi announced that Leclerc would step up as their test driver for the season, and Arthur continues to fill this role today. This means that he's had a lot on his plate when it comes to getting seat time in all different kinds of single-seaters, which is a difficult feat to master as such a young driver. But I'd definitely say, for Arthur's sake, it's a fantastic move for him, as it means he has an easy entry into another premier FIA racing series if the F1 dream that he so wants and desires ever begins to fizzle out. Not that I think it will at all, of course. And as Dan stated, Arthur will be racing in the FIA Formula 3 Championship in 2021, running alongside 7 rounds of the Formula 1 season, so he may actually get to see his brother a little bit more than he usually does. Arthur will again be racing with the Prema team, a very, very prestigious team, and a team who have nurtured so many talented motorsport drivers in recent years, his brother certainly being one of those. Ahead of the 2021 season in Formula 3, Arthur stated to Formula1.com, "I'm really happy to announce that I will step up to FIA F3 with Prema Racing next year. I have quite a bit of experience with the team, as it will be my second year with them, and we established a special relationship. It will be a completely new challenge for me, a lot more drivers on the grid, and a weekend format that looks really exciting. I can't wait for the start of the season." We actually had the Formula 3 testing only a week or so back at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and Arthur was looking pretty quick. He was looking pretty pretty decent, with the Prema team completing a total of 181 laps, with Arthur ending up P13, his best position over the whole of testing. That was achieved in the morning test of day 1, and in that session he achieved a fastest time of a 1 minute 19.905. So the season is certainly looking bright for Arthur. I think he's got a good chance of really challenging at the top end of that grid, and his path to Formula 1 with Prema seems relatively set in stone already. So it could be even within sort of 2 or 3 years that we see Charles and Arthur on the grid together in Formula 1. And it might only be slightly longer than that we might see them both slugging it out in equal cars at Ferrari. That would just be epic. I'd love to see a proper sibling rivalry in equal cars. Oh, awesome. Of course, only time will tell if this does come to fruition. If he's going to be good enough to move up into such a prestigious spot in motorsport, we'll have to wait and see. But in equal machinery and with a bit more experience, who do you think could win that battle, Arthur or Charles? Please let me know in the comments down below. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you did enjoy, be sure to drop a like on it down below. I do really appreciate that. And subscribe to the Moto Meerkat channel as well for lots more motorsport content in future. And finally, of course, big shout out to the Racing Reviews channel. Thank you, Dan, for being involved in today's video. Again, you can subscribe to him through the link in the description. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see all of you Meerkats later. Goodbye, guys.